What is going on, guys? Welcome back to my movie channel, and this is my review for the new film Venom. Venom stars Tom Hardy, who plays Eddie Brock, who is an investigative journalist who ends up losing his job due to certain circumstances. I'm not going to give it away. And he finds himself kind of pretty much in a crappy situation. His life gets turned upside down. He's, loses the love of his life, loses his, obviously his job. And another side of this, the antagonist side, is there's this group of people in this company called the Life Foundation who discover these symbiotes, these alien extraterrestrial beings who need a host in order to survive. And so the Life Foundation, which is run by an evil guy, I'm going to call him Mr. Drake because I don't remember what his first name is, nor do I kind of care, just because I'll talk about that in a little bit. But he starts going through the process of trying to do tests with merging humans and these symbiotes, and boom, we have our story. Now, I want to give you guys a disclaimer. When I first had seen the trailers for this film and knew that it was getting released and had Tom Hardy attached to it, I was very excited for this film. The first couple trailers came out pretty optimistic. The trailers weren't amazing. There were things that were really, really bad in the trailers. But I was very optimistic. I was still very excited to see this film because I love Venom, and I loved that they were going to do an anti-hero spin for a comic book film. I just really liked that. And then crap happens last week where critics, after watching their screening, were not allowed to post the freaking review of the film until 24 hours to 36 hours before Venom was released. We didn't see reviews for Venom until Tuesday, and that showed me that Sony had no faith in this film and that they knew critics were going to hate it. And guess what? I was right. Critics have hated on this film. It's right now sitting, I believe, at like a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. But let me just tell you something. I enjoyed this film, okay? I enjoyed it. I'm not going to say it's so bad it's guilty pleasure material, but there are things in this film that don't work. There are things that in this film actually do work and that actually, I think, help the story move along. And for me, this film works because I had zero to little expectations due to really not having any more excitement for this film. I feel like if I would have gone into this film being very optimistic, very excited like I was weeks ago, that this film really would have let me down. And because I didn't have any expectations, I had a fun time with it. My wife had a fun time with this film. Now, let me tell you the things that don't work for me. Number one is the Life Foundation itself. The villain in this movie is absolutely ridiculous. It's one of the worst villains I've seen in a long time in a film, played by Riz Ahmed. And I like Riz Ahmed a lot. I really liked his role in Rogue One, but he does not work in this film. There is no turning point. There is no conflict resolution moment for this character. He really is just, I'm evil to be evil. And to me, that just makes the villain so much less compatible, so much less compassionate. And it just, that was one thing that really bothered me about this movie. I felt like the lack of support that the antagonist gave was just, it definitely weighed down the movie, in my opinion. So the Life Foundation didn't work for me. Number two, some of the humor elements in this film were not funny. They were very flat, where it was trying to come off comedic, but the timing was off and the tone was also kind of off. And it's weird. I'm not a big comic guy. I'm not really into comedy films. But I do like, and I do enjoy those moments in movies where we get those comedic, moments. But it seems like with Venom, some of those were kind of forced and it didn't work. It just kind of made the scene at the time feel awkward. And that was the one thing that I didn't really want out of the film, was kind of just feeling awkward. And some of those moments, those comedic moments, just didn't work for me. They fell flat. Now let me talk about some things that I do like. The best thing about this film, and I've seen a lot of reviews say this, but I have to agree, The best thing about this film is the relationship between Eddie Brock and Venom. That relationship works so well. I think it's awesome. It's kind of like, this is a film where it's dark. It's very much a darker comic book film, but this is kind of like a buddy, like a friend film. You're seeing two different beings from two different species really having to kind of come together as one. And I think that works so well in this film. And it's the chemistry, even though it's a symbiote and it's Eddie, and a lot of time you can hear Venom talking in his head. The chemistry works, and it just makes the film that much more enjoyable and entertaining. Now, the action scenes also are shot very well. I think some of the CGI in this film is a little bad, but for the most part, I think Venom looks amazing. I think the symbiotes in general just look fantastic. So this is a film that I really enjoyed, and I'm very surprised that I enjoyed it as much as I did. I'm not saying it's going to be my top 10 films of the year or 5 films of the year. Definitely not, but it is an enjoyable film, especially when you go in with little to no expectations. You'll really get a kick out of this film. One last thing I want to talk about is the post-credit scene. Now, there's 2 of them. I'm not going to give spoilers. I don't do that. But there are 2 post-credit scenes. The mid-credit scene, which I heard a lot of people were freaking out about. I don't understand why. It was a good mid-credit scene. But to me, it was kind of like, it definitely leaves the door open. That's all I'm going to say. But it's nothing new. It's not anything that blows my mind. The second post-credit scene is actually pretty cool. I actually really enjoyed that one. So definitely stay for after the credits if you watch Venom, so that we don't miss out on the post-credit scene. But anyway, guys, that is my review of Venom. And I got my Spider-Man shirt. I had to wear Spidey while I'm doing this review. I really enjoyed this film. I recommend you guys go out and see it. You don't have to go see it this week. Maybe wait till it gets to a cheaper theater, or go and see it at the drive-thru, whatever. But it is a fun time, and I really feel like you will have an enjoyable time watching this film. Anyway, guys, make sure you like this video. Also, subscribe to my channel for more content. I will be posting up many more videos to come. And I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye.